The Blue Jays season ends in heartbreak as the Dodgers win their second straight World Series. Hey everyone, welcome into Long Ball. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And Rob, unfortunately, not the way the Blue Jays wanted their season to end as they suffer an extra innings defeat here in game number 7. And I think for Blue Jays fans, Blue Jays players, this one's going to stick with them for quite a while. A series where just missed opportunities was really the name of it and how things ended. But what were your impressions of tonight's ball game, and what did the players have to say post-game?
Yeah, so much to unpack, obviously, Rob, especially the way that it ended, 2 outs away from a win. A game that they sort of had in hand but never really extended the lead, and then to lose it in such dramatic and painful fashion. But what's really going to stand out with me is the reaction in that clubhouse. I spent a good half an hour, 45 minutes in there, and in all my years in this business, I don't believe that I've ever seen a clubhouse that emotional. Chris Bassett, a normally very stoic guy, was in tears. Bo Bichette was talking in a whisper. Ernie Clement was in tears. It was just so raw and so emotional, and it was really reinforced to me how much this group of guys meant to each other. Obviously, the nature of the defeat was crushing, but the opportunity to play in a group like that, I think, is rare. And to a man, they've been saying that to us for a couple of months now, that they just love being around each other, and then to have that World Series that close and let it slip away, it was really a crushing defeat. And as I said, the emotions were incredibly raw.
Now, Blue Jays manager John Schneider called this an epic World Series in his post-game availability, and it definitely was in a lot of ways. A lot of different records were set. Just this game itself, Rob, maybe the greatest baseball game I've ever witnessed in person. Just so many things, so many different twists and turns. But as we look at the season as a whole for this Blue Jays team, what do you think you'll remember the most about the 2025 campaign?
You could almost use tonight as a snapshot. It's the resiliency of this team, the way that they find a way to manufacture wins out of nowhere, it seems at times. Times when they're out for the count on the mat, that they pick themselves up and find a way to win. But I think overall, just the growth. You don't go from 74 wins and last place to 94 wins in first place without having some internal and personal growth. And I asked Chris Bassett about this, about how much did he see them improve, how much did he see growth within the players, and he said, when he first got here, he didn't think guys like Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr., even Kevin Gausman, were ready to take that big final step and get it to the World Series. But as this season went along, he saw that growth, and we saw the results of it all throughout the season, really. But I think starting so much at the end of September when they dug in and locked up first place in the American League East, and then went on the incredible run that they were just on, winning 2 playoff series, taking the defending champions to a Game 7, taking that Game 7 to extra innings, 2 extra inning games in this World Series. It was just it's just an incredible growth from a group that quite frankly needed it after what had gone down with the team over the previous 3 years.
Well, it's obviously difficult for a lot of people within the organization to start looking at the off-season, considering what just happened here tonight. But there's always going to be roster turnover with any team, whether it's the Dodgers or the Blue Jays. But it feels, Rob, though, that this organization is taking a step, as you said, with the growth. And maybe this is a jumping-off point. They didn't reach their ultimate goal of winning the World Series, but prospective free agents that are out there.
Yeah.
You look at where this team is just headed as far as their farm system and the payroll. They're in a good spot moving forward, even though it ended in heartbreak this year.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had a conversation with Kevin Gausman out in Los Angeles, and he sort of alluded to what you just suggested there. And his hope is that people around baseball, especially free agents, take a good hard look at what's gone on with this team, with this franchise, and what they did this season. And all of baseball would have been watching this World Series, and nobody in baseball would have missed what happened here tonight. And it was certainly a good selling point for this team and for free agents that are going to enter the market. Because as you said, this team, and this was part of why the emotions were so raw in the clubhouse. These guys know that they're not going to be all together. These guys that are going to be leaving, Bo Bichette's, he's going to be a free agent. In so many ways, the pulse of this team. So they know they're not going to be together quite like this again. And I think that really exacerbated their sadness and their pain. But the hope is that out of this, it'll be more of an attractive market, the free agents. We're already starting to see that in the last couple of years, and I think the hope would be that growth and that attraction continues.
Well, I know earlier this season, Kevin Gossman had a comment, sort of paraphrasing, but those 15, 16 teams, when he's out and about, people talk a lot about them, and he said, well, hoping one day that people will talk about this 2025 team, and I think after this season, this World Series, they definitely will be in future generations to come. But what a season, Rob! Incredible coverage by you all season long.
Thanks, Rob.
Tough way for the Blue Jays to end it, but still an unforgettable World Series as the Dodgers take it over the Blue Jays in 7 games.